I'm here with Juan Pablo Raba. In the movie Long Gone Heroes, I guess we'll start off with what kind of got you involved in this project, and just in general, like what usually attracts you to certain movies or TV projects that you take on.
Oh well, this was kind of a serendipity one, man. Very unexpected. I happen to be in Colombia, which is my hometown, but LA is my home right now. And the movie that I was supposed to shoot just got pushed further on, and I got a call from producer, and just he was like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" I'm like, "Not much." He's like, "Dude, there's some American people. They're coming to Colombia to do a movie. Just wondering what your dates were and where you were." I'm like, "Well, I'm off now, and I'm in Colombia." He's like, "Okay, can I send you like an outline? There's the script is changing, but I'm like, yeah, cool, cool. But also I want to know, who's involved." And then he told me it's John Schwab, Frank Grillo, Andy Garcia. I'm like, man, that sounds cool. And then I checked out John's work, and I was like, man, this dude, there's something cool about this dude. I like this. I dig it. So sure enough, we got on a call, and the next week we were shooting together in Colombia. So that was kind of what it was. And I'm drawn by projects. I'm usually drawn by projects that involve, military. I did this show for the History Channel called Six. We only did 2 seasons, and man, I hope we could have done more because there's so much to explore, in a military character. And for me, it's not about the weapons, it's not about the war, it's not about the act of going to war, which I have zero interest in. But there's always something that really interests me about the psychology of the soldier. And it's this idea that the real reason you're fighting is for your brother on the left and for your brother on the right. That, for me, is some of humanity at its best. Because it's very selfless at a point, right? There's a lot of violence, of course, and I'm not saying that it should be right, but when you're in the middle of a life or death situation, and you're able to, or you're willing to put your life on the line for someone you hardly even know, like that is something I really love to explore and analyze in a character. Yeah, I always try to do projects that have more than one dimension to the character. So this character, yes, he's a mercenary, and yes, he's a facilitator, and he seems to be, just cold-hearted. But as the film moves on, you see that there's a lot more to him, right? There's a lot more to the place that he comes from, the way he respects that place, and what he feels about it. So that is always a treat.
Yeah, one of the great things about Long Gone Heroes is, first of all, that the action parts are kind of why I'm here for this kind of movie. And these kind of movies have like the extraneous bits that usually I'm like, let's get to the action. But this one, like when characters kind of take a breath and talk, like this is a rare one of these kind of movies where, oh no, I'm actually interested in this as well.
Isn't that great? I mean, I love the layers, right? Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, what's cool when this happens? When you can be in a project that kind of creates a conversation, when the audience is surprised, genuinely surprised, like, yeah, I came for the bullets, but I might have, shed a tear or two there, here and there, right? Because at the end of the day, it's easy, to love or hate an ideology, right? The idea of. But when you really can create interesting characters to portray people who navigate those ideologies, that's when you have a piece that's going to make people talk. Because then you're literally just playing real human beings. And that's it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to having the characters have different perspectives. You have the one character that has the perspective you agree with, but you have the other character you don't agree with, but you can't strawman it, and that makes for a dynamic conversation between them, I think.
Absolutely. And that's what happens, on a military mission. Like, you have one guy, he's a chief, you got to follow orders. Now, that doesn't mean I will follow your orders, but that doesn't mean that I agree with them, right?
Yeah.
And you have to find a way to kind of figure things out, especially when groups, it's like they don't have logistic, support of any kind. It's just a bunch of guys, a bunch of dudes, or or gals or whatever it is, go into a place to try and make a mission, right?
So you've done a lot of acting. What's kind of your approach to acting? Because that it's not something I aspire to, so I'm usually curious about this. But like, are you the type of person just I just learn the lines and say the lines, or are you the more method approach, like try to get into the character? Or like, how do you approach different characters?
I think it depends on the character, man. Like I did a show called Wild District. Like if you like this, I think you would like that one in Colombia about an ex-guerrilla fighter. I had to do a lot of kind of method digging into because it's a character that's so different from what I am, right? And everybody knows in Colombia that it's very different from what I look like or am or portray in my regular life. That I really had to create a way of talking, walking, looking at, behaving. It was a whole transformation. Now there's other roles like, for example, this one that they really just come along a lot. I'm not going to say easier because there's no such thing as an easy role, but it's a lot. The process is more organic. So it's more about being present. It's like, I understand this universe. I lived in Venezuela. I understand the Venezuelan border conflict with my country. It's Colombia. I can play that accent. I can play this guy. I know how a military guy moves, kind of how he reacts to certain stuff. So now all I have to do is be present. To be honest with you, the ones I enjoy the most are the ones I get to be present all the time and just kind of action reaction, have that game of you throw this to me, I'll throw this to you. Let's just have fun. Because man, at the end of the day, the truth is, we're not curing cancer. We just play pretend soldiers.
Yeah. Well, you said there's no easy roles, but I'm sure there's some roles that like you get this like I kind of got this one like you just kind of hit it pretty easy, but also sure there's certain roles that maybe are more challenging to you. What's like an example of a role that you may have more of a hold on and one that you may have trouble with?
So here's the deal. Like for example, for me, the most troubling ones are the ones that someone would say, "Oh, that's an easy role. That guy's you're that guy, right?"
You
They
make it
read it
look easy.
because I don't know how I act. I just act, right? When I have to create a character, let's say for example, I had to create like a really mean bad guy for a film I did with Liam Neeson, The Marksman. So I shaved my head and I put the tattoos and I put some fake teeth and I created a way of talking and walking and blah blah blah. Like I have a whole, like so many strings to pull from, right? But if you tell me right now, like, hey, dude, I need you to play this guy. This guy is just you. Like, what do you mean it's me? Like, then what do I do? No, you don't have to do anything. One of the most difficult things to do on a set is not do anything. Just stay still. Staying still on set is one of the most difficult things to do. So those are really challenging characters for me. Are the ones where I don't have to create this whole universe of stuff. It's just the regular dudes. Those are very hard to play.
Well, damn. Yeah, I picture Ron Burgundy right now, or was it whatever, where he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I guess that was Ricky Bobby.
Dude, Ricky Bobby, you have so much to grab on. Like, dear baby Jesus. The second you say dear baby Jesus, dude, the second they put you, with your stepbrother and you're 30, like you have a lot of tools. But what is really hard is to play, man. The guys like when Adam Sandler plays Punch Drunk Love. That is a hard thing to do. To play uncut gems for him. That I'm pretty sure it is a lot more difficult than playing, the dude that talks funny, walks funny. You talk funny, you walk funny, you dress funny, you comb funny. That's a character.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we already dropped a couple of them, but I'd like to ask people what some movies you'd like to recommend that may be a little off the beaten path that other people may not have seen.
I don't know if a lot of people, well, maybe they've heard of it. I don't know if a lot of people saw it just because it's a hard watch. But The Zone of Interest, I cannot say it is my favorite movie, but I will say it's the best movie I've ever seen. And when you study the way it was made, the level of commitment and precision on that film is something that I will never forget. I loved Poor Things as well. What else? I loved The Lost Daughter.
Yeah.
And dude, and my favorite film of all time is The Goonies.
Nice. That's a great
Dude, you
answer.
you watch The Goonies, that's all you have to watch, man. That's it.
I can't argue with that.
That's
But
it.
yeah, Juan, thanks for joining me. Long Gone Heroes is going to be in theaters on digital demand on September 20th. And dude, the movie was a banger. Congratulations. Thanks for joining me
Thanks.
today as well.
Appreciate it, man.